Is it chilly outside and you're ready to make it feel more like spring inside with some new spring decor? Well, you're in luck. Hi, my name is Leslie and welcome to Happy Tuesday, where we do crafts and DIY and home decor and more on a budget. Today I have for you 5 of the most adorable DIYs for spring that you can make to decorate your home using supplies you probably already have at home, but if not, you can find them at Dollar Tree. Now, don't forget to stick around until the very end and I'll have a hint on one of next week's projects. So, let's get crafting! And here's a quick sneak peek into all 5 of today's projects. I am in love with these, and that'll bring us to project number 1. This is paper wrapped wire, which I buy on Amazon, and I'll have linked below. And we are going to make a little spring butterfly scene. So you can either freehand your little butterflies like I did, and I just decided I wanted 3 different sizes, and so I formed out 3 different sizes. Or you can draw out butterflies and then form your paper wire on top of your drawing so that you get them exactly the way you want them. Either way works fine, whatever way you're most comfortable with. And once you've gotten your basic butterfly form, then I took 3 lengths of that wire and folded it on top of each other, making sure that it was longer than the body section of my butterfly, and we are making the body. And then I'm just going to take that paper wrapped wire and wrap it around, leaving a little loop at the top and a little loop at the bottom, because at the top, as you see, we are going to form some little antennae, and they'll need to fit inside that little loop. And then we'll kind of make some little knobbies at the top for the top of the antenna and glue that into place so that it's not moving around. And then the bottom part we will be using when we secure the butterfly to the wood piece. Now here we are going to draw out our paper form to go behind. And you can choose whatever papers you want, whatever coordinates with your decor. I choose these 3 because they're going to coordinate with flowers we will make later. And you can either draw that on, or you can go ahead and glue your paper wire butterfly to the paper and then cut around it afterwards, whichever again works for you. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue and I will glue this on just a little bit at a time, making sure that I get it in the form I want it. And as you can see, we're going to make a couple little trims here after we get done gluing our butterfly on. Now the cool part about this is, it can be totally customized to your decor or whoever's decor you're making it for. And it is super simple and easy and fun to do and just so cheery, honestly. So we are now going to go ahead and form our word spring. So as you can see, I'm going to start at the bottom, and that way I can fold the wire over top, and we're going to do this in kind of a cursive. I learned something not too long ago. They stopped teaching cursive in the schools unless you are dyslexic. And if you are dyslexic, that's how they teach you to keep your letters separated, I guess, your B's and your D's, because of the way that you have to form them in cursive. I thought that was really interesting. Anyway, so I am just going to freehand this, but again, if you want to write out the word spring, and that way you kind of have a form to go by. But we are going to double wrap quite a bit of this. That way it's got some stability to it. And I think I probably glued that bottom part of that little end together, and I definitely glued the little end of the G together to hold it in place. Once we've got our word all formed, we're going to take our little wood piece. Now I bought this at
Hobby Lobby, I believe, on clearance, but you can go grab something from outside and it should just work just fine. I made sure that mine was gonna sit by itself, but if yours doesn't, you can just add some tumbling tower blocks behind it. And then we're gonna use that bottom loop that we left, and we are going to put in some wire, and I'll double this over again to give it some stability, and we're gonna twist around itself. That also helps with the stability. And once we get it exactly the way we want it, then we're gonna fold over a little loop at the bottom, and that'll be the spot we'll glue on onto the bottom of our little log there. And you can, because this is a wire, you can make your butterflies flap any way you want them to. So I just kind of coordinated the 3 butterflies and got them all into place. And here we are, all completed. I love this so much, and I just think that the cuteness and the simplicity is just awesome in my decor. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. That will bring us to project number 2. Now, this is another simple one, but I think it has a very classy look. I am cutting my spoons, and I'm cutting them slightly below where the spoon part meets the handle part, but we're going to fix that in a minute, you'll see. And then I bought this cabbage rose from Dollar Tree, and we are going to use the 3 bottom layers of petals and cutting them into their 5 components. Now we're just going to glue this to the top half of the spoon, as you can see here. And I'll show you how all this is going to fit together. I cut 5 spoons to go with the 5 petals on that little section. And here we are, we're going to glue that first one down, and you see how it hangs way over our little tea light there. So I chopped that off thinking maybe I could make it, and no, it got worse. So now I am going to grab another spoon, and I am going to try something else out. So I'm just using the clear plastic spoons I bought at Walmart, and you can see now you're going to leave about a fingertip-ish fingernail length of that handle on there, and that's going to glue onto our tea light. And so I had to take all 5 of those original petals off the first set of spoons, and I cut out the second set of spoons, and we're going to go all the way around. And so you can see I'm going to have all 5 petals there. Now, when you put the spoons over, you want to make sure that the next spoon that you put is on top of the edge of the spoon that was before. And that way, when they wrap around, they will all kind of stand tall. Now, you're not going to need any more spoons, just those 5. And we are going to take the next layer, which is the next biggest layer, I guess. We're going to leave that big layer for the last, and we're going to cut that into its 5 sections, and we are going to glue that in between each of the spoons. So we're trying to kind of cover up our tea light there. Now, I made another one of these. I'm using the Dollar Tree tea lights, and you know, they're not especially bright, and so I found using a more white-ish kind of flower worked better. You get more of the effect that I was looking for. And then this last layer, once we cut it in half, it's going to cover the bottom part of that plastic spoon that we glued onto the tea light. So you'll see a teeny bit of the tea light come through, and if your petals aren't laying exactly the way you want, just dab a hot glue in there and put them where they fit best. Now, as I was making this, I thought this would be really cute at a little event, maybe a wedding, these little cute flower tea lights. Now I'm taking the leaves that came on there, and I'm cutting them apart, gluing a little bit onto the bottom, and then right there on the edge of the tea light, and that covers up almost the rest of the edge of the tea light. And that's all there is to this. And I just think they have such a classy look. And I love the way these turned out. Now in a second I'm going to dim my light so that you can see how it glows. And there we go, we're getting dimmer. It's not even dark and you get so much effect.
I just wanted to pop in here real quick and tell you how much I appreciate you. Whether this is your first visit here or you're a regular subscriber and y'all know who you are, it warms my heart to spend time with you each week. Now, if this is your first visit here, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Give today's video a thumbs up, make a comment below, and share it with your friends. Now, let's get back to crafting.
You guys know how I love my wire art, so I hadn't done a continuous line wire art piece in a while, so I thought I'd add a piece to this week's collection. So I'm just going to grab this jewelry wire. I believe I bought it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, maybe even Amazon. I'll link something below. And we are just going to follow the drawing. Now I found this drawing on Google. I just Google searched continuous line art and picked one I liked and printed it out. Or you can draw something for yourself. You just want to make sure that it's a continuous line, and that way your piece will work out exactly the way you want it to. I just loved this half of a butterfly, kind of the silhouette side version of it, and I thought it just looked so whimsical, like it was in flight. So I'm using my little jewelry pliers I bought at Dollar Tree, and we are just going to form this butterfly following that picture. And it's easy, but you just have to be patient with yourself and make sure that you're not using too stiff of a wire. You want something that's going to hold its shape, but not be too difficult to manage and form into the shape that you want. I always, before I get started with a piece of wire art like this, I always kind of run my finger over the drawing multiple times just to try to get it in my head exactly how it's going to go, because sometimes lines look like they've crossed over one another when they didn't really, and that should have been the line you were following. So we just keep moving the wire. Now it's easiest if you keep it in its little ring. Paddle wire is kind of difficult to do this with because it's got so many bendies, but if you can find your wire that's kind of in a ring like this, that's the easiest thing to do. And you can just pull out a little bit of that wire at a time, and it's easy to kind of straighten out, and that way it'll form into the shape or line that you need there. And once you've gotten all the way to the end, then you'll go ahead and cut that off, and then it's just a matter of whether you want to hang it or whether you want to I have a little coffee form I made last year just sitting on my Keurig counter, and it just sits there. And then I have other pieces I've put on just on the wall, or this particular piece we are going to put into a piece of wood. So we're just going to trim this down, and we'll trim it again once we decide how it's going to sit in this piece of wood. Now I'm going to grab my handy dandy little drill here, and I love my pink drill, and we're just going to pick a drill bit that matches with that wire size and drill our hole, and then I'll dab a hot glue in there, and that's all there is to this project. Super easy and simple, but I think it's just so classy, and I love the way wire art looks, and you can make pretty much anything you want. Here it is all completed. I just love this. But I have to say, project number 4 is probably my favorite of this video. And I got to use some wire art on this too, kind of. We are going to take 10 of these larger size of craft sticks that you can get from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut off the rounded edge on all 10 of those and kind of sand that down, giving me kind of a flat-ish edge. And we're going to make a little kind of sandwich sign kind of fence post look here. So once you've gotten all 10 of those cut down and sanded down, then we are going to move on to creating our little fence piece here. Now I'm using a couple of different things. On the bottom, I just used a scrap piece of the skewer wood from another project. And on the top, I use this little balsa wood piece. Doesn't matter what you use, you just need something to kind of keep your pieces together. Go ahead and hot glue those, and that way it gives our little fence post appearance. And there you can see we're going to kind of put it together like a little sandwich sign. Next thing you're going to do is start making your basket. Now, I love miniatures, and I know a lot of you love miniatures too, so we're going to make a little miniature wire basket out of this wire. This is stuff I've been using for a long time. I bought on clearance at Michael's, and you know, that's the thing about a lot of wire when you buy it like this anyway, it goes a long ways. So I just took my 3 little pots. Those are from the garden decor section at Dollar Tree. I bought these a few years ago. And I took my wire and kind of wrapped it around the top just to kind of see how big I needed my basket to be. And now I am cutting bottom pieces. So I cut 5 pieces that were longer than my little loop there, and then I'm cutting shorter pieces to kind of go on the inside of the loop, and we are going to make the bottom of the basket. Now I am creating the top part of the basket, which is another loop, and so we're just going to wrap that wire around each other. And you don't need to get real fussy with this. I mean, it's kind of a rustic piece, so you know, rustic is good. It doesn't need to be fussy and perfect. Now to put the bottom of our basket together, we're going to make this super simple, and we are just going to put a dab of hot glue on each of those little 5 pieces, and then we're going to put our short piece on top, and honestly that is enough to hold this basket together. I'm not using any really special hot glue. It's just the Gorilla Glue that I typically use. And we have got, I want to say 7 pieces that we're putting on the bottom there. Just enough so that it creates the entire bottom of our basket. So if your circle piece for the bottom is larger than this, then of course you'll want to add more pieces, because you want your bottom to be sturdy and secure enough to hold your pots once you put them in there. Then we are going to glue that ring down to our base there, and then we're going to take our handy dandy little clippers from Harbor Freight, and we are going to go around our circle and trim off all the excess ends. We don't need any of that, and it's just as easy to clip them since we've glued this all together than it would be to wrap those around and, you know, kind of add to the bulk of our little basket here. So now I'm trying to figure out how tall I need the sides of my basket, and once I've gotten that determined, I am going to cut enough pieces to hit every point on that basket that we have on the bottom. So I'm wanting to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, gosh, I think it was 20 pieces for my basket. Now here I just cut the first 3, and you can see I am just gluing those onto the points that we have on the basket. And once I've gotten all of them glued on, then I am going to create some handles. So these handles I just kind of determined about how big I wanted them, and then I doubled that wire size because we're going to fold this over and give our handles a little bit of stability. I cut 2 of those because we're going to need a handle for each side, and then I just folded the ends toward the middle so that we can have a really clean look to our handle here. And it'll give us tiny little loops on each side, which you can trim off or leave. I believe I trimmed mine off when I glued them on. Then we're taking our top piece of our basket and we are making sure that it goes over the wires, and then I glued on the front and the back side just to make sure that it was stable. Now you can leave your basket whatever color your original wire is. I wanted mine silver, so I am going to paint it, and that way it also matches the little watering can we're about to make. So I just didn't worry with the hot glue because again that's just going to add to the rustic look. Took my handy dandy little clippers there and I am trimming off all the pieces of the wire to make sure they're all even, and then gluing on my handles. And this basket is almost complete. Again, I told you I did take that silver paint and I am going to paint that. And now I am creating my little watering can. I took this little plastic piece. It's got a lid. I think it's like for beads or whatever storage you can buy at Dollar Tree. And I took the lid off. And now I am folding over some wire. I doubled it in half and twisted it. And then I'm going to fold it again. And this is going to be our handle for our little watering can. So just keep twisting it over itself. That gives it a lot of stability, and I'm kind of cutting off those little loop ends that come when you twist the wire together like this, or you can just kind of clamp it down with your pliers. I like to use 2 sets of pliers to do this. That way you've got one in each hand and you can just go in opposite directions. And once I've gotten that to the size I want, I'm just going to add some dabs of hot glue. Now we're going to make the little spout. And so I took a length of wire and I folded it in half, twisted it. I'm going to fold it in half again and twist it some more. And then I think I folded it a 3rd time, and we will twist it again. And once you've gotten that, that kind of gives you the bulk of that spout. And then I made a little tab on one end and a little spout on the other end, and we'll go ahead and glue that on. Now I want it to have that kind of flowery spout that a watering can does. So I just wrapped that wire around my little jewelry pliers and created a little twist there and glued that onto the end, and there's our watering can. I took a little scrap piece of wood and we are going to make a sign, "Welcome to the garden," and you can print this or however you want to put it on the sign. It's little, so you almost have to write it. Then I'm using my little weeding tool to make some holes in that. And I want to say this is probably one of those little craft sticks that I just cut down. It was in my scrap pile. And once we've made our hole with the weeding tool, we're going to come back in with a little bit of paddle wire and create the top of our sign so that it hangs, and you'll just fold it over. Then I believe I add a little bit of stain to that and made it kind of rustic looking. Now I'm taking that celery chalk paint and I just gave it a real quick cursory coat so that it looks kind of weathered on all 4 sides. We're making some little moss bottoms and some little scrap greenery plants in our planters there. However you want it to look. Then we'll go ahead and glue our wire basket on and take my handy dandy little brown stamp pad and add some rustic look around the edge of all my pieces there. we'll go ahead and glue our sign on, and then glue our pots inside our basket. I'm going to create a little hook with some more wire as a place to put our watering can on there. And then I don't know if you've noticed those little stickers or little puffy stickers I found at the Dollar Tree. I just thought they were so cute and I wasn't sure what I was going to use them for. But once I got in this sign all situated and got my watering can on it, I felt like it needed just a little bit something extra. So we're going to take that pitchfork and that shovel out of that little sticker, and it was the perfect size, and we're going to stick that on there, and here we are, all completed. I did end up having to add a dab of hot glue onto each of those stickers just to make sure they stayed in place. I love, love, love this so much. I think it turned out so stinking cute. And I love it sitting next to my tiered tray with my spring decor. What do you guys think? And that will bring us to our final project, project number 5. I just wanted to have some quick and easy flowers for you. So we are going to take, and we're going to do this really fast, guys, so keep up. We're going to take some of those leftover hearts from Valentine's Day, and I like the kind of little skinny ones, not the little roundish hearts, and those are perfect to make little flowers with. And we are going to grab some little beads and buttons for centers for our flowers, and then we're going to grab some of these flower shapes that you can get at the Dollar Tree, and we are going to make some fun spring flowers to stick with our tiered tray or as a shelf sitter, however you wish. Now we're first going to start with the little flower on the right there, and I'm just going to grab some yellow paint because it coordinates with the papers that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to give that a good old coat of paint on both flowers. And once we've got that done, I'm going to grab a paint marker, and I'm just going to kind of make a flower center. The button is going to sit in the center, but I wanted to kind of give it a little bit more detail, and then we're coming in with some brown paint and kind of create just a little aura around that flower. I think the details make it much more special and definitely more custom. Then I'm taking my skewer and I'm kind of flattening out the end because I'm going to glue that once I've gotten my little button center on there. I'm going to glue that inside the two pieces of those flowers. Now, you don't have to do two. You could just do one. This particular flower, I wanted to have a front and a back. Then you can see that next flower, all I did was take those pink pieces and glue them together and stick a button center and a skewer back, and that's all there was to that flower. Now we're going to take this next one and we're going to glue all the pieces together. Now I'm going to give you a little confession here. I don't do a lot of decoupage. I especially don't do a lot of decoupage with napkins, so I'm giving it a shot here. And I glued all those little pieces of that heart together and put some Mod Podge on there, and then by the time I got all my layers of my napkin done, I need another layer of Mod Podge, and I stuck that on there and then realized you can see right through it. So I flipped it over and gave this a nice coat of white chalk paint on the back side, and we're gonna dry that up a little bit with our handy dandy little dryer, heat gun, and then put some Mod Podge on it and stick some more napkin on there. So once I've gotten this done and glued all good and well down, I'm going to kind of tear that napkin apart, and then I'm going to end up breaking the flower apart. You know, the glue was just enough to hold it together, and I will sand it down here with my handy dandy little nail file. We will glue it back together. We'll stick our little button center on there. add our skewer, and this flower will be done. The cool thing about adding the buttons on is that it definitely adds to the stability of our flowers. Now this last one, I am also going, not though, I guess this isn't the last one. Second to last one, we are also going to decoupage, only I'm using a different technique. So we're gonna put a nice good coat of Mod Podge onto those little flowers and set those aside to dry. Once they're dry, we're gonna grab our little mini press and we will organize them in the way we want them to be. Add our paper on top and press those down until they're good and sturdy. Then we will cut them apart and sand them down again with my handy dandy little nail file. Glue those together, add our little button center and our skewer stick back, and another flower is complete. Super simple, guys. Now if you want the back sides to be pretty too, then you can do something with that. This last piece, we're going to take a half bead and give it a coat of yellow chalk paint, and then we're going to come in with some pink on our flower, and we're going to decorate this one with a little bit of polka dots, which then gave me an idea to add some polka dots onto that first yellow one we made. As you can see, I made two different sizes of polka dots, and I just used the ends of my paint brushes. I'm using this little scrap piece of hanger from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just cutting it with my utility knife, scoring it until it breaks loose, and then we are going to cut a piece off the top, and that's going to be the top of our pot, and then we're going to angle the edges, and I had to angle it several times. I'd get one side the way I wanted it, and then the other side didn't look quite right. I probably should have drawn it on to begin with instead of just trying to freehand this. It turns out okay anyway, and that's the beauty of crafting, right? You can make a mistake and punt and fix it. And if I couldn't fix it by cutting, I can certainly fix it by sanding, right? So we're going to use that other little piece as kind of the top of the pot and trim that down with our handy dandy little miter shears here and get that to the size we want. And we're going to add a little coat of paint. Here's my little polka dots I decided to add on to the other one, and that way my flowers kind of coordinate, the yellow center with the yellow flower and so on and so forth. But we're going to take some sandstone and we are going to make that pot a sandstone colored. We're going to come in and add our skewer sticks and figure out how long we need those to fit in our pot. Then the last thing our little pot needs in order to be able to stand up is, you guessed it, a tumbling tower block. So we're going to add some glue on there and put the glue in a way that makes it stand up. Then I grabbed some little green polka dot ribbon there, and we're going to tie those on as kind of our faux leaves. Then on the other three flowers, we are going to use these wood circles and drill little holes for our skewer sticks to fit into, and add them also some little green leaves with our ribbon, and this project is complete. So guys, crafting doesn't have to be crazy or elaborate. It can be super simple and still be cute and add to your spring decor. I love these flowers. What do you guys think? And here's our final look at all of today's projects. We've got our little tea light flowers. We've got our little garden scene. We've got our little wooden flowers that we made and our wire art butterflies. Which one was your favorite? And which one or ones will you try to recreate? If you do recreate any of these projects, I would love for you to send pictures to my email, and that is happytuesdaydiy@gmail.com. I love to see your guys' creations. You inspire me with how you take my projects and take them to the next level, and I love that so much.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really did enjoy our time together. Now, since you stuck around till the very end, here's your hint on one of next week's projects. You are going to need some wire, some carnation-y type flowers, a little bit of macrame rope or something else that you can put wire in, some air clay, air dry clay, a bead, and some coordinating fabrics. But until then, make it a great day and happy Tuesday!